Hello there. You are listening to Humans of Mitti Ke Rang. And today we have been joined by Mr. Wisam Hussaini from Palestine. He is a yoga expert. Tune in to hear him talk passionately about the true meaning and true practice of yoga. Welcome everybody. Today we are joined with Mr. Wisam Hussaini. He's from Palestine and he's a yoga expert, and with a very interesting story, by the way. So we'll know more about him and his story now. Should we begin with the questions?
Sure.
So you have a very interesting story about how you got introduced to yoga. So please tell us more about that.
Yeah, sure. Well, one thing I want to say that I'm not an expert. There is no expertise in yoga. Yoga is just what's happening right now in this moment. So there is no expertise, or there is no professional or levels. I'm just a student, getting the benefits of what I'm doing, and I wanted to share it with other people. That's all. So my name is Wisam Hussaini. I'm from Palestine. I'm 28 years old now. Yeah, 28 years old. I finished university, went to the workplace. I opened my own gaming center. I still do till now, have a big gaming center. PlayStation, pool tables, snooker, virtual reality and stuff. After 1 year, I couldn't find myself there. I came from an average financially family, so I got more money, but I wasn't happy with it. Mm-hmm. And by coincidence, I was introduced to yoga classes. The first yoga class, I ran away from it. It was so hard for me. But it was the posture practice, was the physical practice and all of that. And I used to be a bodybuilder before, a long distance runner. So I used to, I have a good body. I can do whatever. What is yoga? This thing, but I ran away. It was too hard, too difficult for me. So after I opened the center, I remembered it. I remembered that class, and I went to that class. It was Ashtanga Vinyasa sequence. And since then till now, I'm practicing yoga and learning more about yoga and about myself. And it changed my life. It really changed my life.
It does for a lot of people. So please tell us, Wisam, that what changed for you since that first class to where you are now?
In the beginning, before, I used to think about my body as something I don't care about. I just use it. I just use Wisam. I just use this body and this mind to do things, to live life. But apparently it's not like this. It's part of me. Wisam, my body and my mind, it's me. I need to take care of myself in order to have a good life. I can't have a good life without having good life inside me. And I had an accident. I went to India 2 times till now. And when I went back the first time from India, Palestine is under occupation. If people don't know what is Palestine, it's not Pakistan, it's Palestine. So we are under occupation. It's not a country. It's just a remote land here and there. And Israel came and took the land. So now I don't have a real citizen. I'm just Palestinian. This is the whole Palestinians here. And we don't really have... they don't treat Palestinians as normal people. So they always do take our land, kill people, destroy things, and they can anytime come at this from that door and shoot me. They can do that. Mm-hmm. So when that moment, I really realized that yoga changed my life when I came back from India. And I was going through a checkpoint from a city to a different city, and the soldiers there stopped us, and they treated us very, very, very badly, me and my other two friends. And they hit us, they punched us. And I had some injury from them here, lasted for 2-3 weeks in my ribs, right rib. But the most fascinating thing is that I was observing anger. If you, Angela, for example, when you are angry, and I, Wisam, come and tell you, observe your anger, don't get angry. Go away. But in that moment, I was observing the anger. I was angry, but I didn't have any reaction to that anger. I really felt anger.
Yeah.
I really felt hatred. I really felt that they, like, I'm a pig. I'm not a human being. I'm even pigs is better than me, or I don't have any rights. But the moment I felt that I can do something about it. I can't change it, but it's just happening. I just can't observe it. Nothing else, nothing more. And that moment I realized that I have to go back. I have to keep going in that journey inside. And this is what I'm doing now. And thank you so much for having me here. Thank you so much.
We're glad to have you too, and that's a very beautiful way to look at something, to look at a situation so violent. So thank you for saying that. And I wanted to ask you, you have done bodybuilding as you said, and now you are learning yoga, as you said. So what is the difference, like health benefits wise or otherwise, if you could share with us?
Sure. So the meaning of yoga, the meaning of the word yoga is union. So you are united with everything you are doing. If you are doing sports, you are united with the practice itself. And when they say united, it means when I'm 100% focused on what I'm doing. So when I used to do sports, I used to focus very much on what I'm doing, right? But I used to focus on my right and neglect my left. So unbalanced body, I'm getting unbalanced body. I'm puffing this biceps here, I'm doing this triceps here, but there's a lot of weight here, but inside the muscles and inside my hand, it's corrupted. It's a lot of pressure on it. So I'm making my body less healthier, less balanced. And through practice of yoga, of postures, we balance. It's like when I practice, when we practice yoga postures or asana, we go to the first grade of the school. We go in the first grade, we balance everything, then we go step by step, then we can have a wonderful body. But in other sports, we neglect the first, the primary school, and we go to the secondary and the high school. So we neglect the difficulty, the unbalance in the body.
Right. Nice. So you are doing a lot at your end to educate people about yoga. So how are you doing that?
My plan when I came back 3 months ago to Palestine, my plan was to open the first yoga school in Palestine. We have some studios, and I teach there and I practice there, but I want people to what I want to share with people is that every one of us can do incredible things. We don't need any medicine. We don't need any. We don't need anything from. We don't need to depend on anything. This mechanism, this body can do everything. Really. So here in Palestine, I was raised. I was raised in Palestine that I'm a Palestinian. I have 1, 2, 3 things to do. I can't see more. I can't have the big picture. And most of the people here are having this same thing. Most of us Palestinians here, we don't think about evolving ourselves, know more about ourselves. The only thing we think about, or the majority, is to have a good life. And what is good life? Have some money, have a car, have a job, and that's all. Get married, have children. It's a great thing, but it's not the ultimate thing. I'm always getting angry, and always sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm angry, sometimes I'm frustrated, sometimes we can live. At least this is what happened with me. We can live at peace, whatever happens. Whatever happens, if it's a good thing or it's a bad thing, we can live at peace, and we are actually doing this, but we're not aware of it. So I started going to it's called expertise forum. It's for people that are what is the word in English, that finished their work.
Okay. I think I'm getting your point. Yes.
Yes.
I'm getting your point. Please continue.
So they have a lot of time, but they don't know what to do. So I went there and I started to give them a free sessions with them to just tap into more into the breath, into the movement of the body if they have any problems in the back, and to try to go to the mind as well. So trying always using the body to relax the mind. This is what I'm trying to share with the people here. I'm giving classes here and there sometimes. Yeah.
So you said you wanted to open your own place where you would be teaching and sharing the knowledge of yoga, and you said it's called Simplicity House. Is that right?
Simplicity House.
So why Simplicity House, and what is going to be different in Simplicity House that you wouldn't find in other yoga studios?
The main thing is, we're gonna repeat it one more time, that you don't need anything else. You don't need to depend on anything else. That's simplicity. So what is simplicity? Simplicity is just being here, just being in this present moment without needing. I'm just happy if there is a bird or there is a dragon. It's just this. I'm just happy here. So Simplicity House, I chose this name because yoga is simplicity. Yoga is very simple. Yoga is very simple, but our mind always thinking about the past and the future, and we're not in this moment. We're not really enjoying life. But life is very simple. And Simplicity House, it's all about being simple. And whatever you are worried, whatever worries you, whatever you are thinking in the future, it's all thoughts. It doesn't exist. But how we need to understand this through the practice of yoga. So this is the whole idea of Simplicity House.
Right. And you also wanted to promote, as you say, that yoga means union, and you want to promote the message of a person's union with the world. So how does one do that? How does one unionize with the world?
I'm gonna talk about myself.
Okay.
So I live under an occupation, and I'm sure there's hundreds and a lot of people from the other side and the Israeli side that there's a problem, and we hate each other very much. I used to hate them. I used to hate Israelis just because they are Israelis, without knowing them. And I'm sure that the people do the same thing. They used to hate Palestinians because they are just Palestinians. So I guess, or how I'm doing this, the first thing I think about when I want to share union is to think about humans as a human being, without any labeling, without being a Palestinian, being Israeli, being Indian, being Muslim, Christian. This is all thoughts. This is all labeling things. This is There is no union. If I keep saying to myself, I'm Palestinian, so I'll just do this. This is Palestinian. This is right. This is not Palestinian. This is wrong. So where is the union here? There is no union. And I'm very glad to India, because that was my first time I actually see an Israeli without having a gun. So I can actually see a human being behind the soldiers. They see us having rocks and throwing rocks at them, and we see them killers having this machine guns and shooting us. But we don't really understand. I can't see them. They can't see me as a human being if I just see them with their guns, and they can see me with the stone. I have to be able to see them as human beings. And my first chance to see any Israeli as a human being was in India. And it was very touching. It was very, very touching. I'm really grateful for that.
My next question is very general. And before I ask my next question, if there are any viewers who would like to ask any questions, please go ahead and comment it down below. And so my question is, we know that yoga helps mentally and physically both. So we are living right now due to the virus and everything. They're very stressful times. So what are a few things that people can do just to relieve their stress at home?
Sure. Maybe we'll do some exercise, a small exercise. We can do it.
Sure.
But maybe, yeah. Now, maybe before we do the exercise, maybe we can understand how the disease come up, or how there is a disease in the body, in the system, in a very, very simple way. If we all put, if you please can join me, guys. If we put, I don't know if you can see. I just want to create a pressure here. Maybe you can put 2 hands on top of them. In the beginning, there will be no pressure. It's very, very comfortable. But in some time, when time comes, there will be more pressure here. More pressure and more pressure. So the pressure builds up slowly. It's exactly when we are putting like leg on top of other leg.
Right.
The first, there is no pressure. But this is exactly what happened with any kind of disease or with any kind of happening in the body. So even the virus, even a weak immunity system, it doesn't happen like this. It have to build up. So the whole purpose of practicing of yoga is to be aware of what's happening inside the body. So our awareness of the mind, the mind is aware of what's happening inside the body, of the sensations of the body. So if I'm aware of my breath, for example, I would know if there is a changing in the breath, I would know that there's something wrong inside of in the lungs, for example, or here. It's very simple. If I'm aware of my hand, if I just do this, I will know that there is something wrong here because I'm aware of my hand. The same thing applies inside the body as well. So there's very simple and small technique we can all do, because we are always breathing. And breathing is 24/7. And the very interesting and very nice thing about that we don't really need to control it. It's always happening. So even if we forget to breathe, we're gonna stay alive. So whatever happens, really, this is really nice to understand, because whatever happens when we breathe, there is no right or wrong with it. It's just breath inside and outside. We're just trying to understand it more. So not everybody can do it, and it's very, very simple.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can sit if you want to join us. If you want more people to join, you can just sit in a comfortable position. Okay, maybe we can close our eyes for one moment and just be aware of the weight of the body, and try to have that union of the weight. So on the left side and on the right side of the body, let's try to make them equal. And always remember, yoga means union. Union with whatever, that is union. Then we're gonna use this. It's called Nasika Mudra. It's Sanskrit. I like Sanskrit language. Okay, so we're gonna use the thumb and the ring finger and put it in front of our nose. This is called alternative nostril breathing. So we're going to breathe from one nostril at a time. So let's take inhale together from both nostrils. Then we close the right and just exhale from the left. And when the exhale finish, we inhale again from the left and keeping the right closed. Then we close the left, open right, and exhale from right. Then inhale from right again. Close right, exhale left. And we keep going. So it's like an M. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. This technique balances the left and right side of the body from the breath dimension for lungs and everything. And when we observe our mind, it will be less and less and calmer and calmer and calmer. It's very, very nice technique, very simple technique.
Right. So, is this technique even useful for people maybe struggling with anxiety and all of that?
Yes. Actually, yoga is very, very, very simple. It's not really. It's not about the complicated things. This is complicated things for complicated people. We're very simple. The breath. When we look at the breath, when we just observe the breath, it calms down the mind very, very fast. We can only observe the breath, or we can just do this. Only working with the breath, really just focus. You don't need any teacher, you don't need anyone. Just close your eyes and just observe the breath. And then for 5 minutes, for example, then you alternate the breathing. Like inhale from the left, close left, exhale from right, inhale from right, close right, exhale from left. When you do it, you keep going. You don't need to think about how many times I'm doing it. You don't need to think about how many minutes I'm practicing it. Just sit and do it for 5, 10, 20, 2 minutes, and just and observe yourself after you do it. Right. And then the person realizes that it's very, very simple.
Yes. I forgot what this is called. My mother does it every morning, but I forgot what it's called.
Yeah. There's people call it Nadi Shodhana, and there's people call it Anuloma Viloma.
Anulom Vilom, yes. That's what I know. So, I want to know your opinion on this. It is usually said that yoga is a way of life. So, give us your opinion on this, please.
Sure. So basically, yoga means union, and we are part of life. So a union between me and life. For example, there is Patanjali. If you know Patanjali Yoga Sutras, there is 8 limbs. Imagine it's like a table, and there is 8 limbs of the table. And actually, each limb, it's not something to do. It's a state of mind. For example, yamas and niyamas. How I treat myself, how I treat the word inside myself, and how I treat the word outside of myself. This is yamas and niyamas. Our the morality and not lying, not stealing, all of that. The third one is asana. Asana actually means posture. It's not one posture. So asana, we are always in asana. We can't. Okay. I get excited when I talk about yoga. Outside of classes. So basically, asana means, the word asana simply means the posture of the body in a specific time and space. Like now, I'm in asana. You are in asana. We are 24/7 in asana. So asana means a posture. It's not a practice of. It's not something I do. It's just the posture of the body at this moment. So how is the posture? How balanced is the posture? Let's say. So we start with the weight. The weight is balanced from the right side and the left side, for example. Then we start going deeper and deeper and deeper. How the breath is going on. When you go to the breath, it's called pranayama. So it's always about balancing between me and you, or me and myself, and me and life. So it's a way of life. How can I live a balanced way? How can I live a very simple way? How my body is balanced? And balanced meaning, there's a saying in Arabic called "imsik al-asay min al-nus." It means hold the stick from the middle. So yoga is this. Yoga means hold the stick from the middle. So don't go extremely happy or extremely sad. Don't go extremely having that explosive energy, and then the next day you go, oh, I can't move. Always have that balance. Always be
Right.
balanced. So this is how, in general, how a lifestyle, to be balanced in your lifestyle.
So we have a couple of questions from our viewers.
Sure.
There was one question asked earlier that usually, at least in India, yoga is a majority of the time associated with Hinduism. So his question was, how do you associate yoga with Islam?
Okay. I have a small knowledge about Hinduism, but from my understanding is Hinduism is not a religion, it's a lifestyle. It accepts everybody. And actually this is what religion is all about. Religion is to be a better person. If it's called Muslim, Islam, Christian, Hindu, whatever the name is. So yoga doesn't have anything to do with labeling. It's very simple. It's just the human body. But because of language and because of the convenient things in life, I call myself Wisam, I call you, but we are the same. There's no difference.
Absolutely. Another question. After one it's a big question. It's from Vyomin, and she asks, after one achieves this peaceful, happy state in the beginning, sometimes the people around them start to question it, calling it fake or delusional. How should one deal with that? What centers you?
What is the last part? I didn't understand it.
What centers you? How?
Oh, centers me. Okay. Yes. Actually, what centers me is my breath. Because as I said, the breath is always there. So when I feel angry or when I feel uncomfortable, I always sit. In the beginning, it's hard to observe the breath while your eyes open, but when you practice, you can observe your breath and everything while you're functioning in daily life. So what centers me is the practice itself and the practice of observation. Or, for example, I don't know who asked that question, but if you know Eckhart Tolle, for example, he's a German author, and he always talks about the present moment, and he talks about observing your hands and feeling the energy here. It's the same thing like when I'm observing my left and right side, the weight. It's all about observing the body. And so in general idea, our body is, everything changes in the world, right? Everything is what is it called? Wavelengths or atoms, very small and always changing. But the changing inside the body, in this material body, is very slow compared to the breath or the mind or anything else. So observing the body, because it's very slow of changing, it's not slow, but we perceive it as slow. So when we observe our body, we are always in the present moment. Whenever we observe, this is a very nice thing I want to share it. Our mind is always thinking, but this is not the balanced way of using our mind. Our mind can think and our mind can observe, but we're not aware of the observing function of the mind. When the mind is observing, whatever it observes, it calms down. So when we observe our body, because it's the changing of the body is, as we said, slower, the mind calms down. So whatever happens around us, we know that I am here, I'm observing this body, I'm observing this whatever sensation is happening in the body, I'm observing my mind. And whatever happens in my mind, if I like Angela or I don't like Angela, if there is a good idea or a bad idea about what's happening outside, it's just passing. I'm just observing my body. This is I really invite you to observe the body to get centered.
Right. And last couple of questions. When did you start yoga? You already kind of answered that. And who are you inspired from?
Now I'm to do yoga. I was inspired. I'm still inspired with two people. My meditation teacher and my yoga teacher. It's the same thing, but for convenience and language, it's the same thing. But yeah. His name is the first one. His name is Nagat Kumar, and the yoga teacher is called Vijay Gubala.
Mm-hmm.
These two people, they didn't help me and they didn't support me. They were just there whatever I need them, and this is what inspires me. That they don't tell you what to do. They don't say do this or do this. They don't tell you this is right and this is wrong. They don't do this. Whatever I ask, whatever I'm facing, they always have this idea to that thing. They always have this idea that they want to send to me. That is, Wisam, this is your path and this is your life. You know what's good for you. And the practice of yoga, the practice of meditation, when I sit and just observe, I'm not using my mind, I'm just seeing the reality as it is, and then you will know what to do. So they inspire me.
Thank you. And coming to the final question of the day, a lot of us, even though we come from the country of yoga, have very rarely practiced it. So for beginners, could you suggest a few maybe asanas to start with in our yoga journey?
Yeah, sure. Okay, I'm very delightful that I'm giving this advice to Indian people. So thank you so much for giving me this chance. What I can advise you to do is just observe your weight on the left side and the right side of the body whenever you are doing. Even if you are sitting, you are standing, you are lying down, you are walking, just be aware of the body. And the first step of being aware of the body is to be aware of the weight of the body. When I move, am I equal? My balance is equal. My weight is equal. Is it balanced when I move? If I want to go furthermore, I can use the breath. Always be aware of the breath, or try to be aware of the breath. And you will be surprised that whenever there is a mind, because the mind is very tricky, I can tell you that. Whenever a thought comes, I don't want it. The moment I know that I don't want this thought, it becomes very big, very heavy. So when I observe our breath, when I shift my mind function from thinking to observing to a breath or the weight, or especially to the breath, when it comes to thinking, it comes very quickly. I can observe it. You can observe it yourself. Whenever you think too much, observe the breath for 5-10 minutes without doing anything. Just observe it. Or if you want, you can do this, or make it simpler. Just observe. Maybe you can take deeper breaths. If you can observe it, feel the sensations without taking deep breaths, that's perfect. If not, you can take deep breaths and just be aware of it. And after you finish, after you remember that I'm breathing now, and that's enough for me. When this thought comes, observe your mind and say, am I in the same state of mind? Am I still angry? Maybe I still remember what happened, but do I really feel angry? Do that anger really very high, or I can interact with people with less anger? Just observe yourself. So the breath is very good. It's excellent. And if I can't observe, or if I don't really remember, just observe the body weight on the body 24/7 if possible.
Wow. So thank you so much, Wisam, for a very, very interesting session. it's been lovely talking to you, and just positive vibes. So thank you so much, and I'm sure our viewers also had a great time. So thank you so much for taking out the time and joining us.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and I really wish that like people get benefit from this and actually practice it. If it's always in the mind, when I start that's the last sentence. When I start understanding what is yoga, I thought, oh, I understood everything because it was only in the mind. But when I start practicing it physically, it's completely different. So I really invite you all, if you really want to improve yourself, just know yourself. And how you do that? By practice yoga.
Amazing. It's been really exciting talking to you. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye. Take care.
Bye bye.
Sure.